Yay! I get to share another one of my passions with you today, which is books. I read books every day since I've been old enough to read, and I don't think I've skipped a day since then. Today I'm sharing a few of my favorite self-development books that have all impacted my life, along with that of many others, and they may do the same for you, coming up. You saw it in the title. I'm doing this video today in collaboration with Mimi from Zest and Glow. Mimi has a lovely channel where she shares weekly tips for healthy, happy and peaceful living. She covers topics like minimalism, self-care, green beauty and personal growth. Her videos are beautiful to look at and very uplifting, and she's also a really sweet person. I'm going to be sharing 5 amazing books right here in this video, and then after you finish this one, you can head over to Mimi's channel, which I'll link in the description box below, to find the other 5 books. So definitely check out her channel and subscribe to her, she deserves it. Okay, so let's jump into the books. Let me introduce you to my trusted friend who's always with me and never leaves my side, my e-reader. I've used this Kobo for around 5 years now, and all my books are on here, so I can't show you any paperbacks because I own them digitally. But of course I will put a link to all the books in the description down below, so if you want to know more, you can find out about it there. First up, The Joy of Living by Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. What an amazing book! So I watch a lot of YouTube videos about meditation, and this is how I came across Mingyur Rinpoche. He is a Tibetan teacher and Buddhist monk, and this book, The Joy of Living, is one of his best sellers. I find this man to be such an inspiration because not only is he very wise, he has the power to explain everything in a very relatable way. He's also really funny and charismatic, and he shares many personal stories in his book, which makes it so enjoyable. So The Joy of Living is about unlocking the secret and science of happiness, and what I love is that Mingyur combines his knowledge of Tibetan Buddhism with neuroscience. He also teaches you a lot of the basics surrounding meditation and Buddhism with terms like emptiness or the difference between relative and absolute reality. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can find all that in here. And he combines that with what they have seen in neuroscience today, so that combination of Buddhism and science makes this book really special. I'll also put a link in the description box from one of his talks at Google, so you can just get to know him a little bit before deciding to purchase the book. Second book, Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki. This book is about minimalism, and I found it very inspiring. Fumio Sasaki is not some super famous minimalism expert, but he shares his own personal story, his own journey with minimalism. And he basically explains how minimalism has helped him to go from being this insecure, stressed out, unhealthy, unhappy guy who always compared himself to others and felt that he didn't have enough fancy things and his apartment was too small, into someone who is super happy, content, free, peaceful, and is really living his dream life with only a few basic items. So what he did is basically strip down his belongings to the bare minimum, and he shares his entire downsizing journey in this book. He also shares many very practical tips about decluttering, and it so made me want to declutter further. One of my favorite quotes of his is, "Your things are like your roommates, only you pay their rent." I've gone ahead and posted a link to one of his videos down in the description, and also the link to this book, so you can check them out. Number 3, The Art of Living by Thich Nhat Hanh. This book made me cry a couple times. I found it that beautiful. So Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk and peace activist, and he also worked with Martin Luther King, for example. He has published a lot of books. This is one of them. He was banished from Vietnam during the war, and he lives in France now in a monastery called Plum Village. So about the book, The Art of Living, he talks about the art of living in mindfulness to experience happiness and freedom every minute. He also talks about topics like aging and even dying, and I found these chapters to be very comforting and uplifting. He shares different meditations and how we can use empathy, awareness, compassion in our own lives, as well as in our relationships with others. This man is a true poet, he writes beautifully, and I'll probably read this book again a number of times. I've also linked an interview that he did with Oprah in the description box. I'm not gonna lie, this video made me cry too. He's just such a sweet and gentle soul. By the way, as you may have noticed by now, I didn't include the more well-known self-development books like How to Become Successful or How to Be Rich or How to Be More Productive. Because I feel like a lot of people are already talking about these books, and of course they are really good, but I wanted to show you some books that teach you more about how to be happy in the life that you currently have, instead of how to change your life or yourself to become happier. Which is why I wanted to show you these books, because they helped me do just that. Alright, let's get on with the list. The Highly Sensitive Person: How to Thrive When the World Overwhelms You by Dr. Elaine Aron. It's not overstating things to say that this book changed my life a little bit. I already talked about it in my other videos about being a highly sensitive person. I'll link them up here if you haven't seen them yet. So I'm not going to discuss this book at length in this video, but I just couldn't make this list and not include the book. So in short, Dr. Elaine Aron is the person who first coined the term highly sensitive person, and she has done lots of research on this topic and published books about it. If you suspect that you are a highly sensitive person, or you know someone close to you who is, then I can highly recommend this book. You can expect to find lots of comfort and acceptance and lots of very practical tips on how to take good care of yourself and thrive in today's society. I've also gone ahead and linked a TED Talks video in the description box that I really enjoyed about being highly sensitive, and she also talks about this book and how it changed her life. Number 5, Tao, The Watercourse Way by great Alan Watts. Alan Watts was this really famous British philosopher in the 20th century who talked a lot about Eastern wisdom, Eastern philosophy to a Western audience. And he was brilliant in explaining these ancient wisdoms in a way that people could really relate to, even when they live in a Western society. This man taught me so much that I couldn't make this list and not include one of his books. He wrote many, and The Watercourse Way is the one that I read most recently. It's mostly about the ancient philosophy of Taoism and what we can learn from that in today's world. Alan Watts actually died while writing this book, so it was his last, and one of his best pupils then finished the book for him. Now, I have also read the original text about the Tao called the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and even though I really loved it, it was really old and complicated, so I didn't understand everything, honestly. Now, what I love about this book is that Alan Watts explains this text, as well as a few other famous texts about the Tao, in a very understandable way that I could relate to, and I found many wisdoms in this book that I implemented in my life and try to use every day. Fair warning, the book can be a little bit tough to read through at times, and there are parts of it, for example, about the origin of the Chinese language that I found interesting, but I can also really imagine someone would just skip over those parts. But the book is definitely worth it. Alan Watts was an excellent speaker, and there are many videos on YouTube from his talks. I've gone ahead and linked one of them in the description box so you can check it out and get a feel there yourself. If you have any questions about these 5 books, then talk to me in the comments and I'll answer them there. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for a new video every week. Perhaps some of you even came over from Mimi's channel. If so, a big welcome. Feel free to make yourself at home and say hi in the comments if you'd like. You can go over to Mimi's channel to see the other 5 amazing self-development books that she shares. She has some amazing ones as well. I'll see you all again really soon. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.